It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Good morning, everyone. This is Gary Kayye and Steph Beckett. Hey, Steph, how are you?
Hey, Gary. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I'm excited to be with you this morning. We're coming to you live. This is our weekly live TV show, rAVe TV, the industry's only live weekly TV show. We come to you every morning or every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. That means at 6 a.m. where I am, Steph. I'm in California. Oh. As you can see, the sun is coming up in beautiful San Diego this morning.
I thought that was like a poster.
Better watch the sunrise in the background there. Isn't that kind of cool?
That is very cool. Wow.
Yeah. And we're coming to you live on ravepubs.com, on youtube.com/ravepubs, of course, our YouTube channel with 20, I guess almost 30,000 followers there. And then LinkedIn, we're coming to you live where we've got like about 100,000 followers now on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow.
So we're excited to be coming to you live in all the places.
It's true.
Gary, I think we come live. Are we still on like Facebook and X and stuff like that too, Jeff? Are we doing that? We do?
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, maybe not Facebook, but I know at least Twitter, X, whatever they call it these days. We are.
Very cool.
Very cool. Wait, Gary, okay, did you watch the Oscars the other night?
Barely. The sad thing is, I'm a huge movie fan. And
I know
went through this was one of those years where they only nominated esoteric, weird, odd films. There was not like a single normal film that was nominated. So
what's a normal film?
Like mainstream. Every few years, Hollywood likes to go rogue and only nominate films that no one has actually seen to make you feel like you are completely nuts for not seeing these movies. So we're going to nominate them so you see them.
But like Wicked was up for a lot. They just didn't win a lot.
I think Wicked was sort of got Barbenheimered in that they got overexposed, right? Yeah, too many people. Hollywood doesn't like it when you're too big. They like it when you're kind of struggling to be big.
Right.
So
I disagreed with almost everything that won anything. And that
welcome to my world every year for the Oscars. Like I'm still mad about Star Wars not winning in 1977. They gave it to Annie Hall instead. I mean, come on. No one's seen that movie, and everyone's seen Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Nosferatu should have won for costumes and also for makeup, and it didn't. Well, you know what? You know who did win for makeup? They let a horror movie win for makeup, and that never happens because Hollywood.
You're excited about that. You love horror movies.
Yes, because usually the Oscars hate horror, and they just want to award it to the brutalist or what is that other god-awful movie that got nominated for everything? Amelia Perez. Oh, God.
I didn't see either one. I'm not going to sit there at a movie theater, 3.5-hour movie. I'm going to watch it over the course of a week in my house.
Amelia Perez won like best song, and the lady who wrote the music like got up and started singing into the microphone during her acceptance speech.
I'm a Kieran Culkin fan. I was excited to see him get best supporting actor. I haven't seen the movie yet, but that was the most normal. Apparently, according to all the writers, that was the most normal movie nominated.
Normal movie, yeah.
And so, but you know what I'm really excited about? I'm actually, as you know, because you took my class. I show my class every year a scene from Glengarry Glen Ross. ABC, always be so. Okay, well that's going to be a play on Broadway, and Kieran Culkin is in it, and I'm going to go see it at the end of the month. So I'm excited about that. So
that is exciting. That's awesome.
I mean, he should have won.
A musicals and a plays person.
I am. I love musicals and plays. I've seen them all, so I think they'll get Wicked the second time around. I think for part two.
For part two. Because there's like a lot that happens. There's going to be a lot of like dramatic acting involved. Like I think that's when they're going to win more of the awards.
Yeah, so they're saving it. But yeah, I think this was one of those years where Hollywood's, scolded us for not seeing the films that no one actually saw, except people in Hollywood. And but hey, you don't agree with us? It's fine. Put that in the comments. Tell us what you think. What movie did you see that you thought should have gotten nominated? It wasn't a great year for movies, honestly. Last year was not the greatest.
I want to see every comment say Nosferatu. Nosferatu. Nosferatu.
Okay, there you go. Well, in any case, what's going on in your world, Steph? What's going on with Sennheiser? What'd you learn from the Sennheiser event?
So I attended Sennheiser's Roadshow last week, which was so fun.
Yeah.
And the stop was a 2-minute commute from my apartment, literally at the Topgolf right next door to my apartment complex. So they all were like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so
All your
much for like."
stalkers now know where you live, Steph. You realize that now.
Well,
You just told them.
they don't. Good luck finding me in that huge complex, like whatever. But everyone at Sennheiser was like, "Oh, thank you so much for coming." And I was like, "It really was not hard to get here." So I'm happy. I
But
mean,
did you
like,
learn
and
anything? Tell me what you learned. Tell me what did you think of
yeah,
the
I mean,
TCP
so
series
the
stuff?
great thing about this is there were educational classes, CTSRU approved classes, but in between that, you could go and you could get FaceTime with Sennheiser and some of their partner manufacturers, which can be hard to do at like a big Infocom, a big ISC,
Yeah.
especially if you're, work at a small integrator in Raleigh, like you don't always get to go to these big shows. So this was a really, really good opportunity to kind of get FaceTime with some of those manufacturers you might not know as well. So I learned a lot. I learned about a little bit about their voice lift technology and how that works. Got my hands on a few of their new products. But yes, and I wrote a story all about it. It's on ravepubs.com. And I have a clip of a product video that I got about Sennheiser's TCC2 and TCCM. And we're going to show you a quick clip of that.
Okay.
And we're showing off our classic flagship, the TCC2 ceiling microphone. It's been around a while. It is an amazing microphone for picking up an area of at least 30 feet. But what I want to show you today is the new TCCM, and we're starting to see some features in this microphone that are revolutionary. We have incorporated what we call intelligent noise control. So what's very different about this, when the beam is pointing at a person talking, it now knows the difference between a person talking and ambient noise. So no more stray beams pointing away, and this is particularly important when it comes to automatic camera tracking, where the microphone knows the difference between noise and a person talking. Therefore, the focus of your presenter stays stable, even if the presenter stops talking for a little bit.
All right. So in that article, all the stuff that you shot is there in the article. But in the meantime, we want to remind you that Aver, one of our sponsors for rAVe TV, they're going to be HIMSS, which is a big healthcare show, and they actually have a line of product stuff specifically for healthcare. And they're really stepping up. They've got a neat little niche where they've got PTZ products for each little market. And you think about healthcare, that's being transformed with technology in the last couple of years. Telemedicine is now kind of pervasive everywhere. In fact, I was just reading, we are all in the same, you and I in the same healthcare system.
Yes.
And I was just reading that we can now do telehealth for COVID and flu too. So you can test yourself at home. The at-home kits, they have the flu and be hit. The at-home kits, if you test positive, you just show them on the camera and they'll call in Tamiflu or Zofluza for you. By the way, if you are getting the flu, do not get Tamiflu, get Zofluza, XOFLUZA. No doctor will tell you about it, but it is a flu miracle drug that they will not tell you about because there's a shortage of, but it is amazing.
All right.
Anyway,
well, you heard it here first on rAVe TV.
No medical advice.
Yeah.
It just worked really
He's
well.
Not a doctor. He just reads a lot.
From personal experience. But in any case, with telehealth and then, the operating theater, so-called theater that is, that's changing the game for medical schools globally. A school like Johns Hopkins can show that what they do to the rest of the world, and they're innovating. And those are all being made possible by Aver's PTZ cameras. So check it out at averusa.com. In the meantime, we've got a guest. We love having guests. We love having people on live. We love making them get up early. We have Tara Kennedy here from Window Modes. Tara, tell us what Window Modes is.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me this morning. Yes, absolutely. Of course, my favorite topic. So Window Modes is a dealer-based wholesale fabricator. of
Okay.
window treatments. We carry a line of roller shades from manual to motorized with several choices of fabrics and hardware. Now we have our fabrication center where all the magic happens up near the Catskills in Durham, New York. And our main corporate office is in Westchester County, about 50 miles north of New York City.
Very cool. So
Good.
you guys introduced something brand new. I think it was at CEDIA Expo.
We sure
And
did.
this is
We
kind of
sure
a
did.
collaboration between you and another company. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to. So CEDIA was fantastic. We didn't know what to expect. We were just launching this new product that we have. We're a distributor for Blindspace rather. It's a concealment system. The show itself was fantastic. Again, we didn't know what to expect. We were kind of late to getting a booth, so we were far back in the back end. Everybody found us, including you guys, and it was a great show. So let me tell you a little bit about the concealment system.
Sure.
So we like to share space that the AV companies like too, which is in the ceiling. We'll start with the 4x4 and the 5x5, the standard boxes. That's going to hold your roller shade, and that's going to hold it within the ceiling. That box itself, it's kind of hard for me to show you right here live on camera, but I'm going to do the best I can. This is going to be in the ceiling. Now you have your roller shade, which is going to be housed right here.
Okay.
The definite unique part of this is that it has flanges on the side. It has a flange on either your right, your left, both or none, up to you. And you're also going to have your cover. The cover itself has this great, we call it the magic blue clip, which can hold on either the left or the right side, depending on if you are the way that your roller is going to roll through. If you have a blackout, it's going to roll over. The regular, solar and screen is going to roll under. So the flange is kind of the key there because you're going to muddy that into the ceiling. You're not going to have any cracks or any issues.
So you covered the benefits from a product standpoint, but what are some of the why? I mean, this just seems almost too simple for integrators to get involved, but at the same time, it's a segment of the market that I think a lot of them tend to shy away from because they look at the interior design, the interior designer or anyone who's involved in interior design as being the driver with that. But you're offering an interesting opportunity both in the high-end residential and in the commercial space, right?
Correct. Yeah, and listen, it's a great talk. You're going to plan ahead. And again, this is dealer based. Our dealers are going to be AV because when you guys are out there and you're planning out your whole sound system, your lighting, you're going to want to make sure that you integrate the boxes in as well. What I showed you was our standard line. We also have custom. And again, there are homeowners that want to have that dual role. They want to have the blackout and the screen. To talk about environment and in your home, keeping your home cool, you want to make sure that you have that screen during the day. And then for those folks at night that need that complete blackout, it's really important. So something to definitely think about. As far as the boxes are concerned, we see it more in modern homes. Again, it's going to be your initial build. That's where you're going to put this in. I know we're going to get to that, but it's also, these architects, they're going to need, which we provide the CAD drawings. You're going to need to know how much space you have in the ceiling. And that's what we help you plan out. We help you find those solutions.
Why do you think it's important for AV to be, involved first in this type of product?
Depending again, if there's anything out there, it's so amazing what you have as a homeowner that's open to you now. It used to be years ago, motorized shades were incredible 15, 20 years ago. If you had a little remote and you could put on a show, so to say, when everybody came over. Now there's just the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Every motor we have basically has a hub. So again, it's just there's so much that's open to that homeowner. But yeah, I mean, you really need to plan that out. We do. AV companies are our dealers as well. We sit and we plan out, what are you going to be doing with lighting? How much room do you need in the ceiling, to run your wires? Here's what the homeowner is looking for. The homeowner may have an odd shaped window. Maybe they have an A-frame house in the Catskills in Vermont. They're going to need a little bit more room with us. They're going to need our custom boxes.
So what trends are you seeing when it comes to automated window treatments? I know you kind of mentioned a few, and how is Window Modes kind of adapting to those changes and trends that we're kind of seeing in the market?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm probably going to be a little bit repetitive, but it's a great question. Again, every motor that you have for your roller shades, for your window treatment has a hub. So again, years past, the homeowner really didn't have the option to have that, the everyday homeowner, I should say, to have that smart home. It depends. I mean, you can have an extremely elaborate one. It depends on how far you want to go and what makes sense to you. Some of the homeowners do say, listen, I want to do a step above a remote. I really just want to have it on my phone. I travel. I'd like to know that I can have, a sun setting feature, or, for somebody that just wants to set it once and not have to worry about it again, that it's too much. Really, again, a cliche, but the world is your oyster. We're there to help you solve your problems. I mean, again, we are dealer based, so our clients are our dealers, but we're really there to help them solve a problem.
Awesome.
All right, well, check them out. Check your company out at windowmodes.com. A lot of resources. You also have your own YouTube presence where you're doing a lot of education and how-tos and things like that. So check that out at youtube.com/windowmodes. And we really appreciate you being on here, Tara. What's interesting is I think some of the people watching this may think this was an ad. This was not an ad. This is just us getting to learn a new segment of the market.
Yes.
And we do this because we want you to see these opportunities that are differentiated out there. The thing about window treatments in general is that because they have to be planned so far ahead of time, you get in on the job a little bit earlier than traditional AV gets in.
Yeah.
So when you start doing some of these things like that, it allows you to have a different relationship with the contractor and even the building owner in the case of commercial, and certainly in the homeowner in the case of residential. So we really appreciate you coming on here and sharing the information with us. And have a great day, Tara. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. One last thing, we're going to be at IWCE in Florida in April. So come join our booth 104.
Yeah, check them out.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. Thank you.
We'll see you at InfoComm. And of course, one of the companies that's going to dominate InfoComm, obviously, is Crestron, also a sponsor of our weekly show, rAVe TV.
Yeah.
And they recently introduced the Video Bar 70, and we want you to check this out. right, check this out. Extron has added to their column array speaker line, which was already very popular. It's got this unique ability, Steph. Column arrays, the way that they're doing it, it's got a unique ability like in an auditorium or in a lecture hall where you put 1 or 2 column arrays in the front of the room. Most of the time when you do that, the audio spreads out as you're going to the back of the room from the front of the room. Extron's does not. It stays flat because the ends are pushing down the wave so that people in the back get the same power as the people in the front, right? So you're not dissipating it over space. Well, they have 2 new models, the 83 and the 43 in the CA series. Both models use the same 3-inch drivers. They're just different sizes for different size spaces. The 43 is a 17-inch speaker. And the, I forget the size of the 83, both run off of 70 volt, 100 volt. They're capable of handling up to 100 or 240 watts of power. Yeah, so check them out.
Nice.
It's all at ravepubs.com, or you can go to extron.com.
Very cool. Well, Samsung also launched 3 new widescreen displays that are kind of both for unified communication and collaboration and also digital signage. So there's a 105-inch 5K version and 115-inch 4K version. So like I said, one of them is 5K. That means it's got a 21:9 aspect ratio, and that is going to be for, of course, your unified collaboration and communication. So it's going to be for the workplace audience engagement, really good for that Microsoft Teams front row experience. So it could also potentially work for like retail stores, a lot of high traffic locations in your airport, your train station, etc. And then the second one is available in a few, or another one is available in a few different options, but then the 115-inch also has a 21:9 aspect ratio. But it does offer a 16:9, I think, as well. So you can kind of get whatever works for your office, your store, whatever you need. Very interesting to see Samsung like joining the 21:9.
It was a very impressive display at ISE.
Yeah.
It is big, and it is it's tailor-made for Microsoft Teams front row.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be popular because a lot of people want to hang these things up in the front of a room and use it instead of a projector, or instead of a 16:9 monitor. So yeah, I think it's going to be popular. Stage Precision is asking for beta testers of its new SP Grid product. So they've opened up, they have an open beta going on right now. And SP Grid has both open APIs and is Python scripting. So if you know Python, you can actually modify it and build it custom to what you want it to do for your events. So yeah, if you're interested in testing it out, they have an open beta testing program now. You can learn more about it, and you can sign up for it at ravepubs.com. Check that story out on our homepage right now. And in the meantime, Shure is another one of our sponsors, and we really appreciate all that they do. They are the reason why we sound good every show, and even when we're traveling. And so they've got those new IntelliMix room kits, which kind of came together right before ISE. And so they've kitted it all together based on which system you're using. And we're going to show you a video on how they're kitting together a Microsoft Teams room system and how you can order it with one SKU. So check this out.
What if you could have an effortless Microsoft Teams room solution with Shure's best-in-class audio, auto-configured for you with intelligent video? Now you can with IntelliMix room kits from Shure. Ready to deploy, easy to use. For richer collaboration, powered by high-performance audio and enterprise-level security and management for small to large meeting spaces. Now let's get your whole team together.
Okay, we're back. We've got a few more news stories to go over with you guys. So Comeen introduced AI-powered multilingual subtitling for digital signage and ADA compliance. So this is meant to kind of improve the digital signage experience and accessibility for, those who cannot hear or are hard of hearing. And this does automated video transcription and also translation. So this is going to make it a lot easier for businesses to create multilingual content for diverse audiences as well. So I think we're going to see a lot more solutions like this on the market as, AI makes it easier for us to provide services like this to, support diverse groups of people and people who, can't hear or are hard of hearing. I think this is going to make digital signage a lot more effective, like across the world potentially.
Well, and also in some countries like the United States, we have laws about it. So I think this also makes it compliant. One other story that I think is kind of interesting that came out this week, Steph, I don't know if you had a chance. Actually, I think you ended up writing up the story on the new 100-inch 3D display that doesn't require glasses. That's kind of a new technology that's out there now.
It is.
This is the largest I've seen. I've seen some 43 inches and some 55 inches. And it's from Magnetic 3D, a company you may or may not have ever heard of. They're aiming it at digital signage applications where you're sort of kind of a wow factor, it being 3D. 3D never really caught on in the consumer space, but it's pretty effective depending on the kind of stuff you're trying to show. So if you're trying to show modeling of something, or you're just trying to grab someone's attention and wow them, I think it's kind of interesting. It allows you to see, 3D in the movie theater stuff, no matter where you're sitting, you saw the same view. But 3D in this particular case, when you're moving around, you get that motion parallax view. So you actually see it from all angles, and it is glasses free, which obviously, no one's going to put on a pair of glasses to look at a sign. So that is a smart thing for them to do. And remember last week we talked about PowerSoft and the acquisition. Well, they've got some new products out there, Steph.
They do. So PowerSoft introduced the Unica T, which is a new amplifier platform, and it's designed for, of course, touring, live sound applications. So, anywhere like your concert hall, a house of worship, even potentially. But also like someone's concert tour, because they're supposed to streamline that rental company and live event operation. Makes it really easy. It's got high channel count, really good power sharing capabilities. And it's kind of made to be cost effective and also to improve efficiency. So, Have
you been watching the sunrise out the back here? It's pretty, isn't it?
That's beautiful.
I'm in San Diego for an event. I'm speaking in an hour and a half. I got to get some coffee this morning. I got up early to do this because it's 6 a.m. I got up at 5:15, got ready, and I went downstairs and said, "Hey, where's the coffee?" "Oh, nothing's available till 6. Well, I can't do it at 6. I got to do this. So nothing. So I haven't had any coffee this morning. But we do want to tell you that with your coffee, lunch, or whatever, you can actually attend a launch and learn event on the fly, meaning you can go to our archives and see every event we've ever done that is public, right? Go to launch.com. This next week on March 17th at 2 p.m., we're partnering with WallSmart, and they're going to show you how you can flush mount pretty much anything. So you give it a much better aesthetic. And also this is a unique market, right? This is a good example of something else where, you can take a touch panel and just slap it on the side of a wall and put it in. But if you want it to look a little better and you want to have an aesthetic that is much cleaner, then doing something like what WallSmart does is important. And we're going to show you how you can do that, how you can get involved in that segment of the market. And by the way, this stuff is not just for residential stuff. This is being used. We're putting controllers and touch panels all over the place, wall signs, but also controllers inside of conference rooms and meeting rooms. And then we want to remind you about Launch Week 11, April 22nd through the 24th. The agenda is already up. We have a 3-day event planned. You can see elements of the agenda. I should say we haven't finished every part of it because we don't want to do everything ahead of time because we want to pay attention to the trends that are out there. We're obviously going to talk about AI, and we're going to talk about its impact on the different segments of the market. We're going to talk about some of the new products and new technologies that are out there. We're going to do it a little different this time. We're not having a pro AV day and a home AV day. The days are all going to be mixed up a little bit about everything. So you can check out that at launch.com. Just click on you can anytime go to launch.com, lavnch.com, or scan that QR code. And I believe that QR code will take them directly to register.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to host a session. It's going to be on the first day. It's on April 22nd. It's going to be at around 3 p.m. And this is going to be all about how AV professionals can create more like equitable and user-friendly spaces. So kind of like what I was talking about earlier, that translation service by Comeen, that's going to be really relevant to this panel that's going to come together. So from like assistive technologies and adaptive design to better representation and digital content, I think we're going to talk about how thoughtful AV integration can make meetings and events and public spaces like accessible and engaging for everyone from all different types of like walks of life. So I think that is going to be a really, really great session for people to join and kind of like really, really learn about.
All right. How about if I show you the beach behind me?
Okay.
Steph, what do you think?
Sure.
So I will remove the blur effect, which I tend to like when I'm doing broadcast.
Right.
Like that.
Wow.
Isn't it
That
pretty?
is lovely.
You don't usually get a view like that when you're traveling for business.
No,
so,
very rarely. Wow.
Yeah, so we'll sign off with this. What do you think?
That is just lovely. That is great. Well, yeah, we'll just sign off there. So everyone, you just look at that beautiful beach and have a good rest of your day, people. This has been another episode of rAVe TV. Gary and I will see you folks again next week, same time, same place, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then again at noon Eastern. All right. Bye, folks.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.